Hi guys, Ollie Dabbous here at Hyde in Piccadilly. Sadly, third lockdown, but what I'm going to show you today is how we make the Hyde Christmas tree. So it's been on the menu this year, we'll get it on next year as well. Looks like Christmas, tastes like Christmas, something that we're very proud to serve. And it all starts with this, the mincemeat parfait. So we make our own mincemeat here. Obviously, if you're trying to recreate this at home, firstly, good luck. Secondly, come to Hyde instead, you'll save yourself a lot of washing up. You could use obviously just jarred mincemeat or mince pies as well, crumbled into a parfait. That little bit of the pastry on the outside just will dissolve a little bit, also give a lovely texture. So it's a standard parfait recipe. So by that I mean a pâte bombe, which is basically some egg yolks and sugar, whipped and heated, so light and voluminous, and to cook the egg yolk as well. Then we whisk in a little bit of gelatin and whipped cream. To that we fold in the mincemeat or crumbled mince pies, and that's frozen. Because of the pâte bombe, the sugar content, and also some of the alcohol and sugar content from the mincemeat as well, this freezes, but it freezes in quite a soft manner. So we call it a parfait, but though it is frozen, it's still got that nice mouthfeel. That's the crux of the dessert. We dip that, a little bit almost like a baked Alaska, into pine meringue, or marshmallow to be precise. So here we've got some egg white that we've whipped, some sugar, glucose and gelatin. The green comes from spinach chlorophyll, and the pine flavour comes from Douglas fir pine, so not dissimilar to your Christmas tree. We infuse that with the egg whites at a low temperature before they're whipped. So we have that still a little bit warm, and it's just going to help with the coating. But we're actually going to transfer it to a smaller container, and this helps improve the surface area for dipping and coating. So here we have mincemeat parfait, pine meringue, and we've just got a little bit of shortbread biscuit for textural contrast. That'll form the base of the dessert. So we're going to skewer the parfait, dip it into the meringue, onto a palette knife, and then a short crust pastry base. So that's the basis of your tree. The tree's been dipped. We're now going to decorate the outside. So what we've got here is some different shades of green. So we've got bronze fennel, wakame powder, and Arctic thyme. So the wakame powder is more just for a deeper green. Doesn't impart a huge amount of flavour. The Arctic thyme is a flowering wild thyme. So you've got the green, but also the purple from the flowers as well. And obviously the fennel just grown for us nearby. So we're going to start off with that. So just sprinkling it from a height, trying to cover it all over. The fennel works really well with the pine, and it looks like a lot, but actually the dessert can take it. Okay, next up, going with the wakame powder. Next up, Arctic thyme. What we're going to add now are the baubles. So for that, we use a red currant jelly. So it's a red currant puree, a little bit of agar, a little bit of gelatin, a little bit of sugar. Gives a lovely pop and a lovely kind of brightness to the dish. You do need that acidity to cut through the sweetness of the mincemeat. So when we dissolve the agar and the gelatin into the puree, we then set it and then blend it. So you have a nice thickness or viscosity to the liquid that supports its own weight, which means you can pipe these little dots onto the tree, and they'll remain as dots rather than dropping. So just turning the tray around as you work. Obviously, if you've got a little turntable for pastry, lucky you. Then finally, For the topping, a little bit of gold leaf. So there you have the assembled Christmas tree. So once we take it to this stage, we normally give it about half an hour, and that just softens the parfait on the inside. So while the parfait, as it acclimatises, becomes a little bit softer inside, we're going to make the sauce. Very simple. We've got 250 gram of ruby port, 75 gram of sugar, and 180 grams of dried cranberries. Now we're just going to bring that to the boil. We don't want to boil it for too long. We don't want the port to reduce. You want it to remain quite alcoholic, quite boozy. And then it gives you that taste of Christmas, that warmth from the inside when it's cold outside. Ordinarily, you could make this the day before. So by cooking the cranberries, giving them overnight in the port, in the sauce, they're going to plump up and go from something that's maybe a little bit dry to something that's quite chewy and toothsome, a bit more satisfying to eat. All right, so that's up to the boil. We're now going to add 500 grams of red currant puree. That will give a much needed acidity. We're going to return that to the boil, and then once we do, at the last minute, we're just going to add some red currants. What these do just gives that pop of fresh acidity. Obviously, the puree is already acidic, but that little burst, the texture, the pop when you eat it, just brings the dessert to life. You can rain in some red currants as well. So the tree's ready, nearly. The sauce is nice and hot. Just going to finish with a sprinkle of fake snow, aka desiccated coconut. It's very mild outside, but we can imagine. So a little sprinkle over the top. Then just serving it in isolation on the plate. Comes to the customer like this, and then the hot sauce poured around by the waiters. So you have it, the Hyde Christmas tree. Hyde Christmas tree.